like I stated towards the tail end of the last video that this one stems from, I stated that if that video stopped abruptly, I stated that all you got to do is look at the video that's below that one in this blog, okay? Because then I would open up a new video, start a new video that would be a continuation of that one in reference to where that video was when it was shut down. And this is it. Listen.
Talk project.
Okay, I'm gonna
other projects
I'm gonna rewind it for a couple seconds.
I called you because I don't think they have it figured out yet in reference to how they can. I don't know if in reference to like how long it might take to get to Mars or whatever, but you know, Clyde, the reason why I called is this: is that the person that I knew that literally experienced the Blue Beam Project back in the late '60s. Okay, they're still doing that today to children.
Well, they're doing it with Montauk. Montauk Project. There's several other projects that were involved. There's MK Ultra. Several other Monarch programs, programming with certain songs, certain images, butterflies, caterpillars.
Right. And you know, the thing about it is that looking into all this, I think they were doing back in the '60s is that I think they were testing the human response to it to see how well a human being would react to it. So when they finally bring it about, once all these wars start, they'll be able to.
Oh, we're sorry, we lost her. We lost Leslie. That's too bad. I think she was trying to talk about the Super Soldier program, which is something that has also been talked about many times. Traumatic mind control, MK Ultra, MK Naomi, Monarch, several other Cloverleaf, several other programs that can be looked at. These are all things that you can look up on your own. They're not things that I'm making up. These are all projects, and they're still conducting these projects today. They're conducting projects with children who they find are that have autism, that have Asperger's, that are able to, they're able to monitor the brain to see how their motor responses can move electric trains. They can move the bodies of other animals. Chimeras, the idea of chimera experimentation. These are all part of the programs and all part of what Freeman was talking about the transference of the human mind, or in some cases, the human consciousness into an artificial being. This is all part, 2014, they discussed this for 2014. The first time they'll attempt to do this is in 2014. They are predicting by 2050. Conservative views are saying that 2030 will be the time. And I've been looking at the internet right now. We have crossed that uncanny valley, my friends. We have now got robots that can carry on conversations based on memory relays, where you can ask a robot one thing one day, and it accumulates knowledge, and it remembers conversations, and it eventually analyzes personality and is able to conduct a conversation as if it's a real person. In fact, the computer once, I was looking at one instance where a woman said, "I'm going to miss you, I'm going on a trip," and the robot responded, it looked like a human, the robot responded and said, "I love you," as much as a robot can love a human being. Just to specify that robots can't love the way humans love, but they certainly can understand and appreciate the company, because the network somehow is sending the message that this robot has sentience. And this is where, once again, we go into this uncanny valley of what is reality and what is the purpose of this transhumanistic transformation that we're all headed towards. Is it something that we need to welcome? Is it something that we fear? And it all goes back to the technology arguments I was making the other night. It all interlocks. It's all part of the puzzle pieces to get the bigger picture. And with patience, we're all going to figure it out, I hope. With all of the knowledge that we accumulate together when people call the program and they participate in the discussions on this program. And I'm inviting you to do that tonight. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673. Haven't been able to get in. Now's your chance to get in. We have a few lines available.
Okay, so, as a result, as a result of, do I know somebody who experienced the Blue Beam Project back in the 1960s? Now, as a result of being a targeted individual, we become aware that, well, I'll just put it this way. Is HAARP directly connected to, and can be connected to, organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions? Because we all know, once we become aware of being a target of this crime, just put it this way. Since human experimentation can directly be connected to these crimes, non-consensual, okay, and since the technological resources they're using on targeted individuals from a distance was developed by the military, what we have to understand here is that what is the military's aspirations? Well, they're multiple, okay? Brain entrainment for, it's not just organized crime that has this technology, and it's not just organized crime that can be subcontracted for the human experimentation or for the mind control, because crimes that happen to targets benefit them as a result of like rape or assaults, because as a result of that, the target becomes traumatized and is more easier, the mind control is more easier ascertained as a result of the target being disassociated. That's why the traumas happen, okay? Now, I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. Is Montauk, is that directly connected to the Blue Beam Project? Victims that they chose for it. If they picked a little girl back in the 60s, okay, and then let her grow up, okay, because if you're projecting a picture of Jesus Christ up in the clouds to a little 5-year-old or 6-year-old or 7-year-old, and they don't have no knowledge about this technology or what Blue Beam is, okay, and since this little girl is beginning to be told by her parents that Jesus is the Son of God, okay, that little girl is just going to believe that little Jesus appeared to him, just like how the little girls now believe it, that this is happening to, and the little boys that this is happening to, because they're still continuing the same thing, okay. I just recently watched, uploaded, and printed out the YouTube channel concerning a parent being online and literally showing that their daughter experienced the same exact picture that was projected towards their child. And I can't make heads or tails if this parent is involved in organized stalking, because I have to think to myself, how did this parent find a picture of what was projected for this little girl that she has to see? So is she a parent that's letting the government use their daughter or son? I think it's a girl. Is this parent letting the military use her little girl for human experimentation? Okay, to see how the human psychology reacts to what's projected? Okay? But I will tell you this, any individual that has been targeted with the Blue Beam, or whether you're targeting an individual that's experienced it or not, understand this and be clear. The Montauk program, because the CIA is definitely involved in using, see, like if you went to YouTube right now and typed in CERN and time travel, okay, or CERN and torsion fields, you will come to understand that even Robert Becker was involved concerning torsion fields and what they are. And that's when it's got to do with the Montauk, in part the Montauk time travel, because of how they're see, this was his Ground Zero show that was on May 1st, 2013. They had an individual and they're talking about CERN and time travel, and how they're trying to, how the elite will try and use the CERN technology to transmit their mind uploading into their technology, so it can then be uploaded into a synthetic being or a clone human, so they can live forever once their personality and their consciousness has been uploaded. So you would not believe what I know in reference to what the military is involved in. Literally. Okay? Go to Google and type in artificial neural networks, nonlinear time systems, computational theory. You would not believe what I know. That's why you need to go to Google and just type in mind uploading, and as a preliminary introduction, you can read the Wikipedia and thoroughly and extensively research all the reference material that is attached in that particular Wikipedia website. And that's the reason why Ground Zero was called that night. So, you know, if you think this thing, what I'm talking about sounds too science fiction, I strongly suggest that you take a thorough and extensive research in reference to not only the Montauk program, but Blue Beam, how they're also using targeted individuals to try and see if they can get them to remote view or possess any psychic abilities, PSI abilities. And if you don't believe me, that's literally mentioned in this book concerning the technology they use and gang stalking against this one targeted individual. Because temporal time is different from space and time. Because temporal time is how we're perceiving space and time. And that's one reason why they will even target individuals who process information in nonlinear order. Because nonlinear thinkers think faster than the average person does, because the average person is processing information in linear order. If I'm a nonlinear processor, okay, And then you got a linear processor sitting next to me, which I don't. But say if you did, that linear processor, that person who processes information in linear order, when he's trying to solve a problem, he'll break that problem down by taking steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The beginning of the approach of solving the problem, step 1, 2, 3, and 4 solves the problem for that person. A nonlinear processor will take the problem and see it holistically, intuitively, and holistically, and then be able to break it down by going 1, 3, and 5 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because they're holistic thinkers, okay? Which means they think in pictures. As a result of the picture being formed in their mind almost instantaneously, very, 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 very fast. They're able to see the picture, and then in order for them to make sense of it consciously, in reference to language, they basically just take sections of the picture, break it down by taking sections of the picture, and then using language to describe the necessary sections of the picture that can explain the holistic nature of what the picture is about. And they are having a problem controlling nonlinear processors because of this, because their systems, the remote neural monitoring and the other sophisticated technology that is used to monitor a target neurally, has been programmed to think in linear, to break down linear processing. Okay? So nonlinear thinkers are having a harder time with them. They are also trying to develop non-discrete, nonlinear, time-discrete artificial neural networks to fix this problem, in order to be able to, because they are aware that nonlinear processors are usually smarter than the average person, and that they can also give the artificial intelligence a hard time. So go to Google and type in time-discrete, nonlinear artificial neural networks and see what you come up with. And you will come to understand the factual reality that they are trying to attempt to create artificial neural networks that process information in a nonlinear order, in order to be able to create an artificial intelligence that can process information faster. See, because their whole goal at the end of the day, is not only to develop an artificial brain that they're trying to do, and which was in part was what this show was about, but they're also trying to make sure that no human being escapes their Skynet bullshit that they will bring about one day. Okay? And if a targeted individual, any targeted individual who's a nonlinear processor, is being surveilled by satellites, okay? Go to YouTube and type in satellite terrorism John Hall. That's a good preliminary introduction in reference to these expeditions. If an individual is processing information in nonlinear order, and they're trying to figure out what a target is thinking so they can head them off in the past in reference to what they're processing, a nonlinear processor gives them a harder time. Okay? Yes. Because that's not so accurately remotely neurally monitored, because the remote neural monitoring and the artificial intelligence that run it is operating on linear time processing. Do you understand what I'm saying? My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth concerning the factual realities of these expeditions and part of why they're happening. Okay? So, I hope you learned a little bit about the reason why I made this video is to give you some information that you can take, write it down, and then research it, so you can start to make sense of possibly why this crime's happening to you, develop strategies that you can develop in order to at least keep yourself safe, okay? If you can afford a tape recorder or a video camera, buy them. Make predictions about what you might experience along your route before you leave home, wherever that home may be, or whatever you're using for a home. And then if what you predict comes true, this tape recorder will catch it after the fact. Make a video prediction like I do, which shows a picture of your cell phone, which shows the date and time. These tape recorders are running by date and time. So if what you predict comes true after you leave the area where the video prediction was made, this will reflect a later time and the same date, which then you can prove the stalking of organized gang stalking expeditions. And even John Hall states it, that the best thing to do if you're a target of these crimes is to try and prove the stalking. Because these people have lives as well. They got to protect what they're doing because they know they're involved in criminal activity. They will make them a little bit more hesitant to do what they may plan on doing towards you on any given day. Yes, which might buy you some time so you can develop strategies in time, in current space and time, that may help you survive one more day, one more week. Because you never can tell what God's grace will bring along your path to keep you safe. Okay, so you can be a testimony for other targets and eventually the public. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth concerning the factual realities of these expeditions. Thank you, and have a nice day.